Up next, I have developer and founder, also CEO of New Age Studio. The studio is helping people to achieve their goals, helping others to helping them with serious ailments, raising frequencies, allowing others to discover themselves through ancient healings. Also, author of The Magic of the Spirit Lake. I'd like to welcome Danielle Diva Borozan to the show, and also, I guess I should say, Reiki master and psychic.
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you for having me back. It's my pleasure to spend this time with you and to share some great message with your listeners.
Well, thank you for considering us and having it's an honor to have someone like yourself on the show. I know we talked a little bit off air. You are doing very big things out in the world, and like I said, we need people like you out there doing things such as your new age studio is doing, and you've just recently moved and you've got a new website. The website's fantastic looking. How are things going with your new age studio? I know we talked a little bit off air, but maybe for the listeners.
Of course, I must say I'm really happy. I just like everybody else, I'm a human being. I was a little bit worried when COVID-19 started because this was just a new business and I wanted my wings basically to be spread and to touch many people, help many souls as much as I could. But COVID-19 didn't stop me or my staff going further on. And actually, like I'm saying, this is our second location in a beautiful Strathcona district. It's a beautiful old part of the city. And I must say, we are always pre-booked and overbooked. And I'm really happy because many souls are choosing New Age Studio for their soul food. And that's what makes me happy.
Yeah, and for the listeners out there, if you guys haven't heard, in the last time I had Danielle on the show, I think it was episode 46, Diva at Spirit Lake. Check it out. We talk a lot about the New Age Studio, and we talk a lot about our book. So great information, and I thought it was an excellent interview. I actually went back and listened to it, and you did a fantastic job with that.
Thank you.
So with that being said, you reached out to me and you wanted to talk about the topic of the apocalypse.
Well, just like I was saying, it's wonderful to be back with so many, wonderful podcasts. But like I'm saying, I like being in a contact with you because In Search of Reality is one of my favorite podcasts too. And we have, like I'm saying, that exchange of the energy when we can share the most important message to the listeners. And the topic that I choose today, it would be apocalypse and, decoding the Bible. And the reason why I choose this topic, because I think it's very important for people to know where they are, what's happening, what kind of message they should receive, and what to watch out for.
Excellent. I always find it a fascinating topic. The last days and, maybe signs of the last days. As far as that goes, is it more of a biblical thing, or is it just, as far as the apocalypse, the point of view that you're taking, is it biblical?
I would say that I combine both, being a psychic and a medium and being a researcher. And like I'm saying, my family has been part of research and Gnostics for more than 500 years. I can say that. I think it's my duty to share a message of a Bible, but the reality and the symbolism that many people misinterpret and they actually use to manipulate the mass. And then it would be also another part of the apocalypse where people can understand that these signs are actually used to manipulate them and choose them. So I'm kind of combining everything together. So I want to decode the message for your listeners and basically tell them what to watch out for and where we are right now.
And that's an excellent point. I think a lot of that is not, when it is coming from the biblical references, like it's not literal always, right?
No. And that's another thing because, like we all know, Bible is the most read book in the world. And, there's many ways that everybody can interrupt, that it can manipulate, it can play. And I think it has been done for already hundreds of years, that many secrets are kept aside, especially because now during the COVID-19, tensions between the countries, changes of the power and everything. I talked to some of, I can say, my teachers and my masters too, the grand masters at the lodge too. And I was trying to put everything together. And I'm like, you know what? Somebody needs to tell the people the truth, because the truth, what is, everybody's waiting for Messiah, or they're waiting, for end of the world, the zombies gonna come and vampires, but we are far away from Hollywood. We're gonna talk about reality.
Okay, with that being said, then what are some of the, messages or maybe things that people are misinterpreting?
Well, first of all, if I can say like I said, the Bible is one of the most, book read in this world. And what I can say, when we are reading the apocalypse, everybody can translate that message into their own way. I'm not saying they're wrong, because we are all allowed to interpret things our own way. But we also must understand that there's huge scholars and huge researchers behind this. Then we have the people, like I'm saying, that are raised inside of these families that are here to spread the message and reality of the Bible and work behind the curtains, kind of. So first of all, what I want to say, we do have, I'm going to explain that people are being scared about the sounds in the clouds, and is that trumpet is archangel's gonna show up on basically the sky. We're talking about the four horses showing up, the Jesus is coming. It's far away from that. First of all, what I want to say, when we are talking about apocalypse, we are already there. I know some people is gonna be, oh my God, but zombies are not gonna come, nobody's gonna come cut your throat. It's kind of cool to watch it. I enjoy it too. I love it, but it's far away from it. First of all, I'm gonna mention the trumpets. I think that's where explanation should start. When you're talking about the apocalypse, we have 7 trumpets, we have 7 seals, then we have signs of the beast, and then we have the 4 horsemen, right? Those are the most important signs that we need to watch out. First of all, the first trumpet that happened, it happened the first time during the World War I. Second trumpet is the World War II. The third trumpet is destroying of our environment. So we're talking about destroying the oceans, pollution and everything. That's when all that industry was coming on. The fourth one is cosmic cataclysm. And this is when actually for first time, Bible, religion, and science are coming together. So when you go back to cosmic cataclysm, it's actually proven by the scientists in NASA, in Germany, Italy, France, United Kingdom, all around the world, that right now the cosmic clock is moved for 35 minutes. Everything is happening faster. So that's the fourth trumpet, when he was saying that something is going to move the sky and the earth. The fifth trumpet, that's where we are. The fifth trumpet is basically when we're going to start hearing these sounds from the sky or from the earth. Now people are getting scared and they're thinking, Jesus, it doesn't matter, Prophet Muhammad, Moses, whatever religion you are, I'm not here to judge. They're going to come and we're going to all bow. It's far away from that. First of all, the fifth trumpet, it's actually giving us the sounds from the sky and from the earth. But we must understand, when Bible was written mostly in 3 ancient languages. That's Hebrew, and we're talking about the ancient Hebrew, Koine Greek, that's actually ancient Greek language, and Aramaic. So those are the most 3 languages that were spread during that time. So even now, sometimes you don't have the words for those basically things to be translated, because it's not possible. One word can be translated maybe in 10, 11 words. So that's why I'm here. So I want to tell you, the fifth trumpet is giving us the sign where are we right now. The fifth trumpet is telling us that we're going to hear the sounds coming from the sky and from the earth. That's earthquakes. That's moving of tectonic plates. That's also tsunamis. That's tornadoes. And the most important thing, for example, for the north where we are here, is going to be breaking of the ice. That natural causes. It's not angels or superhuman beings coming, blowing into trumpets, are actually giving us one of the last signing before something terrible is going to happen. We are very close to it. And the reason why I'm telling you that, because after this sign, there will be invasion. And that invasion is actually mostly on the European continent, and it's already happening. When we're talking about invasion, it doesn't mean I come and I slaughter the people. It means the movement of many other masses or population of the other people. That's where you have thousands and thousands of the refugees moving from Syria, from Afghanistan, Pakistan, Africa, Sudan. So from all around coming to Europe. What's already happening. This is going to last, and it's already lasting 4.5 years. So 4 years and 5 months. The reason why I'm saying that this is calculated by some of the top priests that I personally know, that they work on the holy mountain in the Greece, that's mountain in the Athos. And we have Father Nikolai, who's actually one of the top priests. And it's my pleasure a lot of time to listen to him and of course to learn. He also talked to the priest who is actually now canonized, and it's Father Paisius. It's another priest who became actually a saint. And we must understand that these priests were actually very simple like you and I. They didn't live in most expensive, cities. They didn't have the big churches. These are, we call them monks, but they are monks that live deep in the mountains, and their job is to translate the holy transcripts and to give the researchers what they know, so to spread the knowledge. What made me really concerned when people were saying there were some sounds here in Canada, in Edmonton, in Toronto too, in Vancouver, where I go a lot, in New York, everywhere. And people were getting alarmed. Oh my God, we're going to see the sky, it's going to open up and we'll just hear two, it was all over. Already been in contact with some people. These were the seismic movements of the Mother Earth, giving us the warning before the World War III will come. So unfortunately, the World War III, we cannot escape. Now, talking about the beast.
Is World War III the sixth trumpet?
Yes, that's actually the seventh trumpet.
What's the sixth one?
The sixth one is invasion of the Europe, that it's already
what you were talking about. Okay.
Yes. So the seventh trumpet would be basically the World War III. What made me as a researcher, as somebody who's here to help people every day, I felt like it's my duty to spread this to the people so that they know. Sometimes, people think when they mention the beast of many of these shows, I start laughing. And not just me, many of, I think, people that do know what is happening behind the curtains. My friend, the beast is not somebody who has the horns, the teeth, and it's gonna fly. No. The beast is actually union. It's a union of the countries against a union of another country. So we'll have a beast of 10 countries. Those are 10 kingdoms against another union of another countries that will be 6 kingdoms. So for example, on one side, I'll be honest to you, we have United States and Canada, that's our one kingdom. We have Japan, that's our one kingdom. We have Germany, that's our one kingdom. We have France, that's our one kingdom. United Kingdom, even if they fight between themselves, it's still, and it's gonna be, even at that time, one kingdom. We have the Italy is gonna be one kingdom. Greece is one kingdom. Turkey is one kingdom. And the one most important that is gonna play a role in this, Israel is a one kingdom. That's gonna be on one side. On the other side, unfortunately, we're gonna have Russia, we're gonna have China, we're gonna have Iran, we're gonna have Iraq, we're gonna have the all Ukraine, but the part that is coming, all the Eastern Europe that is coming under the Russia now. So those are part of we call it beast provinces. So basically they are making those smaller countries, they're making a kingdom. So it will be like a part of Ukraine, Poland. So those smaller, weaker countries, those countries will combine against one another. And they're already doing that. So it's unfortunate, and people are thinking it's going to be a beast, it's going to be somebody. I'm only allowed to tell you a little bit about the beast. And I'm actually really happy that you are allowing me to share this with your listeners. The beast is not Biden. The beast is not Trump. It doesn't matter what side you are. I'm not going into that side. The beast is not Obama. The beast is actually born in 1960s. So it's not an old person. He's born in 1960s. He's white, so he's Caucasian. And he's already working behind, just like a Hitler was getting basically during the World War II support, from many lobbies, Germany, lobbyistic rich countries, and the rich countries and families that have an influence. He's already working on that.
Is it someone the world knows, or is it somebody that you probably wouldn't, the world probably
wouldn't? He's already
wouldn't.
Around there. He's mostly known in Europe. He's already around there. He's already around there. So it's not, his ideas are satanistic, but he's not a person, some people just like, I think many of us did see on CNN, and the reason why, because CNN is one of the most global, channels on the world. We all did see, for example, Adolf Hitler kneeling in front of the Virgin Mary in that little shorts and, white t-shirt in the back. And I was like, oh, look at that cute baby. And we thought it was a vintage picture. And after that, they said, oh, this is Adolf Hitler when he was little. And Christian Ampur was actually doing that, the kind of documentary about it. And, at that moment, when you see that little child, the little boy, you think, is that going to be a monster? So, of course, that's what your soul is inside. So this is a beast. So the beast is not, as much the Democrats and Republicans fight between themselves, or we here in Canada, we have liberals and conservatives, it doesn't matter. That's where it's going to happen. And the main thing is one of the last signs that people need to watch about. When Turkey, so this is where traitor will happen. When Turkey goes and attack Greece, because they want, and they're already doing that, because they want Greece under them. And the reason why, because the Greece is the last country that keeps some of the old and the most secret things about the Jesus Christ and about Christianity. Unfortunately, that's what's going to happen. And during that time, there will be many kind of cataclysms in the world. So people will be, in their own things. They won't be even realizing what's happening. And another thing, they'll be preoccupied with the horse that it's already ruling. And that's a basically black horse. And I will come to that. So that's where we are right now. So it's not, my friend, a person who has 666, it's flying and has a satanist. No, that's a Hollywood.
It's the combined nation.
Yeah. And it's a real person. And I can just say that there's three priests. That actually do know who he is. They do know also where he was born and everything, and they follow him closely. And what made me really sad when actually I did listen, Father Nikolai, and they asked him, they said, you're gonna be killed because of the truth that you are spreading. He crossed himself and he said, I know, but if that's God's will, I will do it, because this is the people that give their life for serving others and spreading the light and light and the religion. It doesn't matter who you are. So it's a human being. And that's when people don't understand that this is now, even now, what I want to mention, this person that it's actually having this sign of the Satan 666. He is born in 1960s, like I'm saying. And so he's not that old. He's going to rule for 4 years. During those 4 years, he's going to try to make everything perfect in the world. And for a couple of months, first, we're going to be blinded. After that, we're going to be shocked because we're going to realize that, for example, you're turning against me, I'm turning against you. So it's going to be traitor, basically after a traitor who you don't know. Everybody is going to kind of trying to dig a hole for one another. There'll be false promises. I'm not talking about flying to the sky and the things that you see. No. So, for example, I may come to United States and I say, well, you know what, tomorrow you will own Canada. Or I may come to Canada and I'll say tomorrow, Justin Trudeau will rule United States. So he's going to play manipulative political games. especially those manipulative games gonna happen between the Israel and the Palestine. So that's already happening, unfortunately. And it's very sad because he's gonna come very soon, starting the September, October. We're gonna start knowing who he is. And I'm glad that many people then watching or listening this basically show of yours will realize that you and I were spreading the message and the knowledge what needs to be recognized.
And just to clarify, these aren't necessarily your ideas. This is stuff that you've learned by talking to these priests, right?
Actually, this is on both sides.
Uh-huh.
So there is my own research. And of course, I combine the research with the priests, and I combine the research with other researchers and with my own knowledge, and I put everything together. Because I think you would agree with me, we all learn from one another. And with some of the books and some of the knowledge, for example, the books behind you, I don't know what you have, but I may not have, and I may borrow it from you, and you may borrow it from me, and then we can share our knowledge. So it's my own conclusion together with the researcher and knowledges of others. So this is combined all together.
Now, you'd mentioned the two beasts. When this World War III happens, is that kind of like the beginning of the end, or is that part of the apocalypse?
That's a part of apocalypse. And now this is what I want to really bring out to people. When we're talking about, four horses, that's where the trick is. And I'm going to explain to you now as a symbolist and somebody who's studying that for a very long time and been raised in that kind of family to do all the ancient knowledge and everything. So first of all, we have the four horses. In every generation that we know, and every time there is something bad, we're thinking, oh, it's an end. Roman Empire, when was ruling, people saying, oh, it's an end. When we had, people in Egypt were begging, it was an end. Actually, by now, proving by the science and by the biblical research, this is exactly what's happening. So now, for first time, these two are together. And I'm going to explain the four horsemen, they're actually written wrong in many places, and they are explained wrongly. First of all, four horsemen started, and you go, there is a white, there is a red, black, and some people call it a pale, but I don't think it's pale because by my own research, it's green. The last horse is green. So first horseman, when you see him, my friend, and I'll explain you, this is important. It's a white horse and he's riding, but he's carrying a bow. Where is the arrow? He doesn't have an arrow. He doesn't have an arrow. And the reason why he doesn't have an arrow, that's why I'm going to bring you to this era. Since 2000, so year 2000, that's when the first horseman started, year 2000. And the reason why, I'll tell you why. White bow and a horseman on a white bow, when you translate that from the ancient scriptures, means manipulating communications. It means giving you wrong information, manipulating media, trying to trick you and make you denial, question many things. So this is totally far away. And that's when we had, in year 2000, we had so much media. Remember, especially after the towers went down, you didn't know who's saying what, what's happening, who is where is ISIS, what's Al Qaeda, nobody knew. That's exactly when it started. Then after that, what do we have? We have something very, very bad that was happening, especially last more than, we should say, 15 years now. So that's when the red horse came in. Now, what red presents in the Bible? It presents the blood of Jesus Christ, of course, but also presents the blood of innocent victims, of all the people around. Blood also presents the life, and it presents everything that breathes around us. It presents also the beating heart. Remember when we have the icon with the sacred heart. So, this is what's presenting. But that horseman, what does he carry? He carries a sword. What's the meaning of a sword? Sword means terrorizing, killing, slaughtering, basically destroying anything that goes in your way. So red horseman presents terror. That's ISIS, Al-Qaeda. And for example, we had in Russia, the churches burned. Then we had, in Palestine, in Israel. So ISIS, especially Al-Qaeda, ISIS at that time came, and it's still there, but that was their peak. And the sword is actually coming from that beheading and all this kind of area, what's unfolding. Many people didn't understand it. And I'm like, no, this is far away from it. Now, we are coming to the time that we are living in right now. That's a black horse. Black horse doesn't present death. Black horse doesn't present, going, and some people are saying, oh, somebody's going to strangle me and whatever. No. Black horse is presenting something that is called darkness. And what does that horse riderman has? He has a scale. And that scale, you remember in the Bible at the ancient time, what did people do with the scale? They did their coins, they did weigh everything on it. That's economical crisis, famine, because you're buying the food with coins. That's also presenting, that everything is going to be manipulated by economy. So basically, you're going to have sanctions. For example, the United States now put sanctions on Canada. I'm just saying, for example, for Honda. So what are you doing? You're manipulating and judging. And then you have, many people dying from the famine, more than they're dying from this terrorizing. And the red horse that it already happened. The black horse, it's a part of the scale, or the scale that is going to destroy many people and many lives economically. When you have a man, especially if you're taking a male figure who cannot feed his family and take care of his wife and his children, what you're doing, you're destroying everything. And he feels judged, his family is destroying. So, and then how many kids, for example, are hungry in Canada, United States, in all around the Europe, all around the Asia. So it's more that they're dying at this moment out of the hunger than they die from the red horse. And that's where we are right now. So COVID-19 was part of it, of course, but it played a major role in what? Economy, and still is. And that's where we are right now.
Yeah, I think we're just now seeing the beginnings of the destruction, of the economic destruction it's going to cause.
Of course,
yeah.
Of course. I have lots of friends and family in States, in Canada, and Europe, all around, luckily to say, nobody lost their house, but of course there's people that struggle, and you're here to help one another. But I must tell you something openly. We're gonna very soon see how much we lost. Of course, life is priceless, but we're gonna see how much we lost. And just imagine, for example, United States, Canada, and European Union, how much food did go from the food bank? How much money did we give for, Africa and African Union to feed these children? How many children did die? Because everything was cut short. So it was more of that hunger, that famine, and that economical crisis than the basically red horseman, forgive me. So we are getting there. It's going to continue. It's going to get a little bit better. But after that, that's when we're going to enter basically
the green horse.
The green horse. Forgive me. So the green horse is actually something that's going to be terrifying. The green horse is actually the one that is carrying the casket, and that's what's presenting the death. But the death doesn't mean that we're going to all die, of course. It means, apocalypse also means revelation, change on a Greek. And it means basically discovering something new. It doesn't mean just destruction.
And that's what I had a question for you on that. I was hoping you were going to get to that. And it sounds like you are. So I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I think it's more of it's not necessarily the end of all humanity, right?
No. And that's a thing, because apocalypse on Greek, and even ancient Greek, means revelation. It means something new, that there is, you are opening something unknown. So basically, even if we went through all of these three horses, that did affect the world really badly, and unfortunately, the green horse is bringing that death and everything. But after death, there's always rebirth. There will be the war, unfortunately, that we cannot escape. But I must say also, the people that have faith and hope, it doesn't matter who they are and what they believe in. I'm not here to judge, but as long as they have a light inside of themselves. And for example, you and I are not judging one another for who we are, but we respect one another for who we are, we will be saved. It doesn't matter, some people, and this is where also people get wrong, because, for example, Danielle is Greek Orthodox, she will be saved. Far away from it. If I go and kill my neighbor across the street, do you think I will be saved? And, so we must understand and look our own behavior, because after all of this darkness, there is a light. That's when and that's when people need to wake up. That's when the rebirth will happen. That's actually when people will realize basically how much life is worth it, the value of life, how much we can even, respect this cup of water and respect one another in the food. And I think already we are starting to realize that, especially during the COVID-19 now. So we're trying to realize more and more. But what I want to say, even this issue that will happen, not everybody will die. That's another thing. People are saying, oh, there will be deaths, nobody's going to die and only. No, that's not true. And another thing that I want to bring, it's very wrong for many of these people. And I don't like that. For example, I'm a priest or I'm a prophet or whatever you want to call me. And I say, you know what, Dylan, to save yourself, to leave your house, sell everything and go to the mountains. And that's when you're going to survive. First of all, that's a lie, because you cannot escape from your karma. I can be here right now and I can be hit by my book and I can die at this moment. Second of all, people will have only a little bit more chance. And the reason why, if you are outside of the city, of course, you have, let's say there's a huge cataclysm. Most of the people that will be dying from trauma. Because when you have a medical background, you know what I'm talking about. If the building is collapsing right now, we're going to have people mostly losing their limbs, having a head injury and everything. So they're going to die from trauma. Well, of course, if you are on the mountains and you have some water and you have a chicken or whatever, or even fine grass, you will survive. But it's also wrong to say that. And I did see many people in Canada, in Europe, all around the world, they call themselves preppers. I don't have nothing against them. Don't get me wrong. Everybody are free to do it. But I also would warn them to be careful. And the reason why, because we cannot escape from our destiny. We can't. I know personally a lady, I'll be honest to you, I will not mention her name. She had a reading, and in her reading, son will die. I will be honest to you. Unfortunately, he was very ill, and that was it. She did everything that she could save him. And that surgery did save him for very little time, for 6 months. But you're going to be shocked now how he died. He sit in his own home, and there was an earthquake. And as there was an earthquake, the big picture frame fall and hit him, and that's how he died. So you cannot escape from what's going to happen. Of course, we cannot. I wish we can cheat death, but we can't. So I would also warn people not to spend the money. Of course, they can do whatever they want, but to be careful when people are giving them, these false promises. And also, many of them, they're going under the ground. Earthquakes and seismic waves, when they move tectonic plates, that, I'm sorry to say, that, that container that you're living in, it's not going to save you. And somebody who has a military background will know that. I'm not a military personnel, but I'm not that stupid,
Right.
If you have or even when you have an atomic bomb, there's many different kind of waves. You can even live under the ground for some time, but you're going to run out of the food and out of everything. Mm-hmm. What you're going to do after, you need a medical attention. So I'll be very careful for people when they are spending their money on something that's not going to save them.
That's a lot. How the war?
Yes.
How long do you think it's going to last, and do you have a rough idea of
yes.
when it could start potentially?
Yes. So basically, it's already happening in the air. It's already happening in the air. The tensions are already there. So like I'm saying, starting the fall, we're gonna see the beast slowly coming out, like somebody who was kind of gonna give us a hint to say, I want changes in this, I want changes in that. The war will last 3 years. It's not gonna be very little. In beginning, it's gonna be 5 months. And I'll tell you why first 5 months. And the 5 months will be because somebody who knows the military really well, imagine all these superpowers raising all that technology and all those weapons in the air, from the earth, from the ground, from cosmos, everywhere attacking one another. They will be exhausted because there will be casualties on all sides. Then they will make a peace and then they will start again. The reason why, because the beast won't be happy that it's basically at the same level because he wants to conquer. And so basically starting September, we're gonna see this person slowly coming out. And 2023 to 2024, we should start seeing more and more influence of the beast. And that's when there's a huge possibility of wars happening. And I'm hoping that, you know, there won't be faster cosmic cataclysm. If there's faster cosmic cataclysm, then this can be happening faster. So we must also understand that also all this universe is also influencing what's going to happen and how it's going to change.
That's pretty bothersome, though. I mean, when you think about it, because you know, think of if you think of all the casualties, even in World War II. You know, our technology is way far advanced now to the point where I feel like if there was a world war, a lot of people are gonna die, and a lot of things would change on our planet.
Yes, I will tell you something. And so what I will bring now, another part of the Bible, when you're bringing that part. So when we're talking about also, you know, end of the days, or I should say revelation and change of the time, we're also saying that during that time, when this beast will rule or start to fight, that's when the universe will get angry. And there will be many cataclysms in the world. And basically that's when the earthquakes, tornadoes, tsunamis will happen one after another. It's almost like the earth itself, it's angry. And John, you know, in his, basically in his revelation wrote something really that kind of brings you thinking. And me being now part of the medical field, and you are also there, you know, when he's talking about the wounds and everything, you're talking about radioactivity. So that's when the flesh is coming out from, you know, from your body. We are talking about radioactive wind and, you know, the lungs being basically like cement and hair falling off.
So a nuclear war, a nuclear weapon.
There will be nuclear heads flying in the air from both sides. So there won't be, nobody will be innocent. I'll be honest with you. The only people that will be innocent, it will be somebody like you and me, because we don't have that power. People will start waking up, and people are waking up even right now, trying to send this message and trying to say, you know, we need to change and we need to get to the point of this. And that's like I'm saying, you know, people, and that's another thing, when people are saying zombies and whatever, these are not zombies that people are coming, you know, out of the graves. And it's kind of cool. I like it. It's good to you know, have fun. But Hollywood is there to have fun. My respect to these wonderful people, but we are talking here about radioactivity and its influence on the body and organs and mind, what it's actually terrifying. I had a chance to see people that actually, including my own family members, that were actually, you know, under radioactivity because of the cancer. And I know what that can be, and that's for a treatment. So imagine if we are talking now about powers that are made by these basically minds. Sometimes I call them very evil minds, because to make something to destroy and kill another human being just because you want power, I'm sorry to say it, I think it's very evil. That's just my opinion.
Now, after this revelation, all those things go away, right?
Yes, that's another thing that I want this message to basically send to every listener to know. During this time, it's going to be struggles. So of course, there'll be economical struggles. There'll be struggles for the food, and the world won't be the same at that time like we know it. And if I can give a hint, they're already preparing us for that with this issues that are happening right now. So they're kind of giving you a hint what you can be living in, basically in one room, and go pick up your groceries while you have a military or the police outside because you may get some disease, or it's a military club because somebody is attacking above the sky or whatever. So they're kind of giving you a hint and preparing you for it. So it's up to people how they want to look into it and understand it. But after this, there is a huge revelation. And that's when something huge will happen. During that time, and I'm very sure it's going to be for my time and your time, basically somebody will come. Now, that's what I'm going to leave it, how people, they're going to say it. Is it going to be Son of God? Is it going to be Moses? Is it going to be Jesus? Is it going to be Allah? Whatever they want to call it. But somebody will come and people will for first time understand that we are actually not from where we're coming from. And we will understand that we are seated. We'll understand that basically we are all brothers and sisters loving one another, and prosperity then will happen. And when people are saying, and I want to give this slide to everybody, again, I'm going to bring that again. When Hollywood Motion is bringing, these pictures, when people are coming out of the graves, Dylan, that's not what's going to happen. When you and I die, you know that scientifically, everybody the same second is lighter for 245 grams. Nobody can explain it why. I saw it in front of my eyes plenty of the times. That's when your spiritual body leaves. When that happens, that's when your relatives will come in. So they're not going to come out of the graves and miss the limbs and the hair. It's kind of, no, they're going to come out just like we left them. So they're going to come out in their spiritual bodies, and we'll be able to meet them. For somebody, because I know it sounds a little bit out there, but I want people to know that our spiritual body and our physical body are two separate things. And this is proven by science. Yeah.
Our actual natural state, though, is the spirit body, right?
Yes.
We're just kind of using this as a vehicle to take an experience. Yes.
Yes.
Excellent. That's interesting. So when you talk about this person, Jesus or Allah or God or them coming back, and you say that we will know that we've been seated, what are you referring to? I think I know, but what are you what are you referring to?
I am referring to I have books, and these are the books. I know many people will be shocked now, but I love when you're smiling because I'm gonna drop the bomb now. So I have the books, and after this show, because I'll go home, I'll send you a page of that book. I will look through it, and I will also then take a picture, and you'll see where the book is coming from. Adam and Eve never existed. Adam and Eve are basically not just a legend; they're a story.
It's a metaphor, right?
It's a story to start from somewhere. Yes. It's a legend. And even when our priests do study that, they're told to say, this is what you should say, but you keep it to yourself. So that's when we're talking about basically religion, that you're coming, and I always say, how can I come from a man's rib? It's always make a jokes about that. But the truth, that's just basically a story, and storytelling at that time was really, really thing to do and to make things fly away. And
Well, you think about it, if they didn't have recorded history back then, it's a great way to, when you have stories that are spectacular, it's a great way for people to
exactly,
remember it and pass it down through the generations, right?
exactly. And also you must understand, Dylan, this was done also to get more worshipers, because we must be honest, every religion, what they want more worshipers. So if I'm impressing you, you will come and follow me. We must also understand that Bible is rewritten, like I'm saying many times. King James, it's the best original version. But I will tell you also in Vatican and in Mount Athos, what's the holy mountain in Greece, it's like a small, basically government inside of the government, just like we have the Vatican. They are the two only places that do know the basically the secrets, and they won't tell you anything about it. And the reason why, because also they may lose some worshippers, some people may wake up. Some people, for me, I'm like, okay, this is just the way it was, but not everybody is the same. And many things are taken away. Like there is a, for example, you have a basically understanding and fights between people when they're talking about Mary Magdalene being a prostitute
Yeah.
and Mary Magdalene. So for me, Mary Magdalene is not a prostitute. It's actually being a researcher and being part of the family that presents the ancient history, and that they were all part of it. I must say the Mary Magdalene, he was a companion of Jesus Christ, and she's misunderstood because there was three Marys, and other Mary, who was actually almost stoned to death, was misconceived for the Mary Magdalene. And when you talk the Orthodoxy, they say, no, 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 you shouldn't. But that was also done to put women down. The reason why, because men power was coming on. Not that I'm saying women should rule. No, I'm very equal when it comes to that.
Right.
But that was
That's how it
done.
is. That's how it
Yeah,
was.
it was done. It was all about the politics and about the power.
And see, that's the problem I have. You talked that they have secrets, and I think it's pretty well known by a lot of people that, like, the Vatican does have secrets. But that's the problem I have with organized religion. I feel like humans use it as a tool to control people and to, get people to do their bidding. And that's the problem I have. I don't have a problem with God. I don't have a problem with the Bible per se. I've read it
Yeah,
quite a few times.
of course, yeah.
The Quran I don't have a problem with, but I have a problem with organized religion and the motivations behind some of it.
And I totally agree with you, because, for example, I a lot of times bring my great grandmother into these stories. She was pagan, she was agnostic, she was a part of the priory of the Sion. So that's what runs inside of our family. And you can also call it an old believer. So as much as she did, she was far away from organized, like you're saying, organized religion, and that's the family that I come from. And sometimes, for example, if you take like a very heavy Roman Catholics or very heavy Greek Orthodox, that's why they fight. Byzantic and Romans, they fight for the power. But if you take somebody who's a wonderful soul, and I know some wonderful people on both sides, they are just like you and I, they will open up and say. So that's what I'm saying. When we bring back the Adam and Eve, it's a wrong story. We are seated and we are far away from organized religion, and they're serving to us, and that's when we're going to know the story. And also, like in the medical world, we don't know the answer, because Darwin theory is just that basically now the story that we talk about, but it's ruled out, and we don't know where we're coming from. So nobody knows. It can be that, ancestors from Dylan, that's where they're coming from. We are all coming from there, but nobody knows. So that's when we have this, how should I say, superhuman power above us. We're going to realize where are we coming from.
I think I know the answer to this, but perhaps you can shed some light on it for the listeners. Can the apocalypse be avoided, or is it something that must happen?
Apocalypse cannot be avoided, my friend. First of all, when you have when we talk about the Old Testament, and Old Testament, the whole part of the Old Testament, I also read it. It's in Quran, and if you read it, it's there. If you take Torah, what's the Hebrew one, it's also there, because author of the Old Testament is Moses. He is the one who did all of it. But then we have the New Testament, what was actually done 100 years after the Jesus death, and was written by many apostles, and was also many parts were taken out. So you and I maybe know just a little bit how much, for example, Vatican or Mount Athos does know. But what I can say, we cannot avoid it, because everything that it's written above in the stars cannot be avoided. There is a time when Daniel will die. There is a time when Daniel will cry. And there is a time when Daniel will go through hell, and when Daniel will be happy. I cannot escape that. And for anybody that is listening right now, I don't want them to be scared about it. Like I'm saying, apocalypse means revelation. And after all of the struggles, there's always something good.
Yeah, I definitely think there could be a lot of good, from it. But like you said, there's going to be, I think, a lot of struggles along the way,
Yes.
especially if there's a war.
That's another thing, people, we must understand that this is not like you're talking about World War I and World War II, and we're talking about ancient empires like Greece and Rome, when people are going more into the combat,
Right.
like face to face.
It's not
like even now, how that more in Afghanistan. I have some wonderful friends and the soldiers, and they were my patients too, and they still are my clients now. When there's a combat. So somebody who knows military more, they will know, there's a wounds from the gunshots and, or missing the limbs and everything. What it's terrible, don't get me wrong. But this would be more of basically war of the stars. First of all, we're going to start with the stars and these terrible, powerful heads and machines that are out there. And even right now, we already know that some of the sectors that are private, and that's what's scary. That's why I want people to wake up. When actually, for example, Dylan, you and I are now multi-billionaires, and you're going to have a part of the Neptune, I'm going to have a part of Saturn, and you're going to have your nuclear heads, and I'm going to have mine. So, the creator above us that created all this universe didn't allow us to sell his kingdom. And I think we are already doing that big time, because I look at God, and I go to creator of all of us, and I love my Aboriginal people when they say that we are all created by the creator above, who we are to sell something above. And first of all, who I am to on the sun or the moon. It's really wrong. It's really wrong.
Right. I love that. That's beautifully put. Beautifully
Thank
put.
you.
What did the stars say about the apocalypse? I mean, because I know you're into astrology pretty heavy.
Yes. One thing, like I'm saying, year 2021, this is going to be the year of many waking up. And the reason why, because we are going to this struggle of the COVID-19, like I'm saying, that's part of the horse that we are in, or the rider, the black horse, and also the stars and all these retrogrades. If you see, we're constantly having Mercury retrograde, then we have Mars retrograde, and it's these retrogrades are bringing so much commotions in the air, but giving us, I don't know if you felt that in your own skin, but I can say we feel more moody, we feel more needy, we crave people, we crave contact. And the reason why, because we are waking up. It doesn't mean we were stupid before. No, I just mean we are realizing how much human connection is worth it, and how much, for example, this cup of tea, it's like a cup of enlightenment. So there will be a lot of awakening. There will be a lot of economical crisis that were coming from before. And we must understand in this year, we have a lot of Mars. And what is Mars? Mars is presenting military, anything connected with authority, for example, police. So that's why you have demonstrations. You have all around the Europe, all around the world, in United States, even here in Canada. And so there will be a lot of kind of rebels and trying to fight against this thing. But 2021 will also, by end of the year, bring us many surprises. And those surprises will come like that. It will bring us basically changes in economy, so we'll be shocked. It can bring huge changes in currency. So some currencies will go up, some currencies will go down. And another thing what will bring, you're gonna maybe laugh, but it's gonna bring more children. not because it's COVID-19. And sometimes people say, oh, people are busy. I said, no, it's going to bring because people are sharing love. And people that don't want children, they maybe will bring more animals into their lives, you know, or they will try to connect one another. But that's what's in 2021. But 2022, it's a little bit different because it's going to bring this black horse coming, green horse, forgive me, coming slowly to us. And this wonderful person that it's 666.
Will we understand who this guy is? Say in 2 years from now, will we know who you're talking about currently?
Of course, of course, of course. You will know.
He will be known by the world.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not trying to be disrespectful or anything. I actually know who it is, but I'm a little bit not that ready yet to release it on the air. And I will contact you when I'm ready. But I can give the hints. I can tell you he's a white person. He is born in 1960s. I even know the date of a birth, but I can just give a hint. He's 1960s, but it means he's not an old person. He's in 1960s. He is right now currently resigning in Europe. So I'm giving a lot of hints there. And he's not, he's connected to many powerful people, and he's already around there. We see him a lot, and he's come. So it's not like people, you know, because, oh, it's a Republican, I'm a Republican, no, it's gonna be Trump, oh, it's Trump, it's a Biden. No, that was just like an inside thing, unfortunately, happening. It can happen in any country. It's just the way it is.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, do you have anything more to add on the apocalypse? This has been a very interesting subject. I know you got me thinking a lot, thinking pretty deep on it. Your understanding of it's pretty impressive.
Thank you very much. Well, what I would first like to say, I want to say thank you for having me on. I really do enjoy that, you know, you are allowing me and people from my New Age studio and all the people that are behind me to spread this message and the knowledge of apocalypse. I'm turning now into the Greek because it means apocalypse. It means actually revelation. So I want people to know, not to be scared of it, to listen carefully, to understand the signs very good, and not to be tricked. And after all this turbulation, because it's a turbulent time we are going, and like they can go closely again, we are in the 5th trumpet, and we are right now in the 3rd rider, what is the black horse. After that, go and read back and try to get your own understanding and the message. Maybe the Holy Spirit, the Bible, or the Creator himself will send you the message and you will understand what I was trying to tell you, because after every rain, there is a rainbow.
Very well said. That's the way to end it right there. That was great. Where can they find you? Where can they get a hold of the work you're doing?
Well, everything, you know, you can find me on my Facebook, you can find me on my Instagram, and of course, more than anybody, you can always send me the email, and my email is also public together with my New Age Studio website.
Wonderful. Thanks for coming on the show.
I don't know what to say except, Dylan, you know, thank you again for having me. Like I'm saying, I'm gonna go home, and I'm gonna, when I'm done with shower, everything, I'm gonna send you a couple pages. I'll take a picture of those books.
Yeah, don't forget to send me that info.
Yeah, no, I won't. And I will also want to tell you, on behalf of some people that are behind me, they are wonderful. I know I'm the same like you. I'm not religious. I'm very spiritual. I'm not, but there is some wonderful people behind me. I'm telling you honestly, that want to spread this knowledge and this message. And on their behalf and my behalf, I want to say thank you. And please feel free anytime to contact me or any member of your family. If they like anything from my shop, you know, if they like a cup, a mug, you know, for example, if your girl would like her earrings, it doesn't matter, or you would like a reading, or please feel free. Any of my sessions are free for you and your family members or your friends. It doesn't matter.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a wonderful evening, my friend, and all the blessings to you.